My name is Claire. I'm 34 years old. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment in Columbus, Ohio, with my 7-year-old daughter Lily and a rescue dog named Biscuit, who eats more than both of us combined. I work from home as a freelance grant writer. I drive a 2017 Honda Civic with a crack in the passenger side mirror that I keep saying I'll fix. And most nights I fall asleep on the couch with Lily tucked under my arm watching nature documentaries. That is my life. It is quiet. It is small by some people's standards, and for a long time I let certain people in my family make me feel like quiet and small were the same thing as worthless. My mother's 40th anniversary gala was a Saturday night event at the Hartwell Grand, which is the kind of venue where the chandeliers cost more than my car and the waitstaff wear white gloves. The invitation came in the mail, which already felt a little cold since my mother texts me every single day, but okay. I opened it, and the first thing printed inside after my parents' names was a line that read, quote, "Strictly black tie. And if you cannot dress the part, please kindly stay home. Do not embarrass this entire family," end quote. I read that line 3 times. Then I set the invitation on my kitchen counter and I made Lily her grilled cheese, and I did not say a word out loud. But something shifted in my chest right then. Something quiet and certain. The way a door closes all the way and you hear the lock click into place. 2 days later, my older sister Vanessa called me. Vanessa is 38. She got her MBA from Georgetown. She is engaged to a man named Preston, whose father is a federal judge, and she has made it her full-time hobby since approximately 1997 to remind me that I am the family's loose thread. She didn't even say hello, she just started talking. She said, "Listen, Preston's father is going to be there, and his entire firm is coming. And honestly, Claire, we just cannot have you showing up looking like that." I said, "Looking like what, Vanessa?" She went quiet for exactly 1 second, and then she said, "You know what I mean." And the thing is, I did know what she meant. She meant my off-brand dress. She meant my drugstore makeup. She meant Lily, who she has called a distraction at every single family event since the day she was born. She meant me. The version of me that divorced young and struggled publicly and never quite fit the image my mother had been carefully constructing for 40 years. I told Vanessa I'd think about it. She said, "I really hope you make the right call here." Then she hung up. And I stood in my kitchen holding my phone. And I want you to understand something. I did not cry. I thought about it. That familiar sting behind the eyes, but it didn't come. What came instead was something different. Something that felt almost like patience. Like I was watching a clock and I already knew what time it was gonna say when it finally struck. Here is what nobody in my family knew. 3 months earlier, I had taken on a new client for my grant writing work. A nonprofit out of DC focused on early childhood literacy programs in underserved rural communities. I had written 4 major federal grant proposals for them, 3 of which were approved, which translated to roughly $2.7 million in funding. The director of that nonprofit was a woman named Dr. Patricia Owens, who had spent 22 years in public service and who had more energy at 61 than most people have at 25. Dr. Owens had become something close to a mentor to me over those 3 months. We talked every week, sometimes just about the work, sometimes about bigger things, about raising daughters, about what it means to keep going when the people who are supposed to be in your corner have left the building. It was Dr. Owens who first introduced me to Senator James Callaway. He was one of the key federal sponsors behind the Literacy Initiative. We had a video call in February, just a 30-minute check-in about funding timelines. And somewhere in the middle of that call, Lily had wandered into my home office in her pajamas holding a picture book and asked me very seriously if senators had to take naps. Senator Callaway had laughed the kind of laugh that fills a room even through a laptop speaker. After the call, Dr. Owens told me the senator had specifically asked about Lily by name the following week. Now here is the part that matters. Senator Callaway's office had reached out to me 2 weeks before the gala. He was going to be in Columbus for a weekend fundraiser, and Dr. Owens wanted to know if Lily and I might join a small dinner afterward. I said yes. What I did not know at the time was that the fundraiser was being hosted at the Hartwell Grand, on the exact same night as my mother's 40th anniversary gala. And when I figured that out, I sat very still for a long moment, and then I called the tailor. I want to be clear about something. I did not plan this as revenge. I need you to understand that, because what happened that night could easily look like I orchestrated every single detail. And the truth is messier and more human than that. I simply made a decision to stop shrinking. That was it. That was the whole plan. I found a tailor named Rosa who worked out of a small shop on 5th Street and who had been recommended to me by a coworker the previous Christmas. I brought in a deep navy gown I had purchased 2 years earlier for a work conference and never worn because I had talked myself out of it the morning of the event. Rosa took one look at it and one look at me and said, "Honey, this dress has been waiting for you to be ready." She altered it in 4 days. I also found Lily a dress, ivory with small gold buttons down the back, and she put it on and spun around my bedroom 3 times and declared herself a professional princess. And I thought, yeah, you kind of are. The week before the gala, Vanessa texted me again. It was a Saturday morning and I was drinking coffee and the message came through and it said, "Claire, I really hope you're making the smart choice here. Preston's dad is bringing 2 of his senior partners and a state congressman. This is not the night for your usual." And she put a period at the end, like a period was going to do the heavy lifting of everything she did not have the guts to say directly. I read it. I set my phone face down on the table. I finished my coffee. Then the morning of the gala, I got one more message. This one said, "My sister texted, 'You'll ruin everything, please just stay home.'" That was Vanessa, word for word. Please just stay home. I got Lily dressed first. Then I sat down at my vanity and I did my makeup slowly. Not rushing, not shaking. Just taking my time the way you do when you finally feel like you have all the time in the world. I wore the navy gown. I wore my grandmother's pearl earrings that my mother had given me the year Lily was born. The ones she said were for important nights. I looked in the mirror and I thought, yeah, this counts. Senator Calloway's aide had arranged for a car to pick us up at 7:15. It was a black SUV, clean, quiet, with a driver named Marcus who gave Lily a bottle of sparkling apple juice and a champagne flute, and told her it was a very fancy evening drink. And she held that little flute with both hands the entire ride like it was the most precious thing she had ever touched. We arrived at the Hartwell Grand at 7:40. The fundraiser was in the East Ballroom. My mother's gala was in the Grand Ballroom, which shared the same main entrance, the same marble lobby, the same set of enormous double doors that opened from the inside. Senator Calloway was already inside. He had arrived earlier for a pre-event reception. His aide met us at the door and walked us through the lobby, and I could already hear the sounds of my mother's gala from across the hall. The string quartet, the low hum of conversation, the particular kind of laughter that people do when they are performing wealth for each other. And then I heard Vanessa's voice. She was standing near the entrance of the Grand Ballroom with Preston and 2 older men in dark suits, who I assumed were the federal judge and one of the senior partners. She had her back partially to me, and she was mid-sentence about something. And then Preston touched her arm, and she turned. The look on her face went through about 6 different emotions in under 2 seconds. Confusion first, then recognition, then something that looked almost like assessment. The way she scanned my dress and my hair and Lily standing next to me in her ivory gown holding her little silk purse. Then her eyes moved past me to the aide standing at my shoulder and the car still visible through the lobby glass. And I watched her brain try to catch up with what her eyes were telling her. She said, "Claire, what are you?" And then she stopped, because the door behind us opened. And Senator James Calloway walked into that lobby. He was tall, silver-haired, the kind of presence that makes a room recalibrate without a single word being spoken. He walked directly toward us. And when he saw Lily, his whole face changed the way it had on that video call in February. Open and warm and completely genuine. And he crouched down to her level right there in the marble lobby of the Hartwell Grand and said, "Well, there she is, the young lady who wanted to know about nap schedules." Lily giggled. She actually giggled. And every single person standing near that entrance, including Vanessa, including Preston, including the federal judge and his senior partners, went completely silent. Nobody moved for what felt like a full minute, but was probably closer to 5 seconds. That kind of silence has a weight to it. It presses on people differently depending on what they are carrying. Vanessa was carrying a lot that night, and I could see it on her face. That slow rearranging of everything she thought she understood about me and my life and what I was worth. Senator Calloway stood back up and extended his hand to me and said, "Claire, so glad you both could make it tonight. Patricia has been talking about this one for weeks." And he nodded toward Lily, who was now holding his hand like they were old friends. "Because that is exactly who my daughter is. She has never once in her life met a stranger." I shook his hand and I smiled and I said we wouldn't have missed it. And I did not look at Vanessa when I said it. I did not need to. We walked through the lobby toward the East Ballroom and I felt the eyes following us the entire way, and I want to tell you something honest about that moment. It did not feel like winning. It felt like exhaling. Like I had been holding my breath for about 15 years and I finally just let it go. The fundraiser dinner was everything the gala across the hall was trying to be. It was warm and real, and the conversation actually meant something. Dr. Owens was there, and she pulled me into a hug the second she saw me and told me I looked like someone who had just made a very good decision. Senator Calloway spent the better part of the evening checking in with every person at that dinner personally. But what I kept noticing, was that every time there was a quiet moment he found his way back to Lily. He brought her a mocktail with a little paper umbrella. He asked her what her favorite book was, and when she said it was a story about a girl who builds her own boat, he said that is a very serious choice for a very serious person. Lily told him she was going to build a real boat someday. He said he believed her completely. I watched my daughter sit in that room, in her ivory dress with the gold buttons, completely confident and completely herself, and I thought about every time I had been told to leave her home, to keep her quiet, to make her smaller so other people could feel bigger, and I thought about how none of those people were in this room. After dinner, Dr. Owens mentioned to me quietly that Senator Calloway's office was expanding the literacy initiative into 3 more states and that they were looking for a lead grant writer to manage the full federal proposal process. She said the senator had specifically asked if I would be interested before she even brought it up with me. I told her yes before she finished the sentence. We stayed until 9:30. When Marcus pulled the SUV around and Lily climbed in and kicked her shoes off and leaned her head against my shoulder, I just sat there for a second in the quiet of that car, and I let myself feel it. All of it. Not the anger, not the satisfaction of being seen by the right people in the right place at the right time. Just the simple and complete feeling of knowing that I had shown up, that I had not folded, that I had not stayed home. My phone had 17 unread messages. 12 of them were from Vanessa. I read the last one, which said, "We need to talk about tonight." And I set my phone back in my purse and I looked out the window at the Columbus skyline and I thought, yeah, we probably do, but not tonight. Tonight I was going to go home and take off my grandmother's pearl earrings and hang up my navy gown and make Lily a bowl of cereal because she had eaten approximately 4 bites of dinner and was definitely hungry. And I was going to sit on my couch with my kid and my dog, and I was going to feel exactly as good as I felt right now. The conversation with Vanessa happened 4 days later. She called and she was different on the phone. Quieter. Not soft exactly, but careful. Like someone choosing their words for the first time. She asked me about Senator Calloway. She asked me about the nonprofit. She asked me how long this had been going on. And I told her the truth. I told her I had been building something. I told her I had been building it quietly and steadily for 3 years while everyone in this family was busy deciding what I was worth. She didn't say anything for a moment. Then she said, "I didn't know." And I said, "I know you didn't." That was the whole problem. I got the lead grant writer position 6 weeks later. Lily is already researching boat designs. And I never did go back to shrinking.